Hoka, hey there, Alita Army. Welcome to the Alita Livestream of February, not January, but February the 21st, 2025. Will Alita kill Nova in the sequels? Where we discuss all things to do with the movie Alita Battle Angel, the source manga Gundam, and the greatly desired sequels. I am your host, Creek Indian from Denver, Colorado. Damn, almost forgot where if I was in Colorado or North Carolina. So anyway, before we welcome our guest, we only have one right now, but I suspect some other folks will come on. Just want to remind everybody, we're still trying to help the folks in LA after the fires. We've got a GoFundMe going on there, and we've raised a little over $1,200. So if you can afford it, please click on that link you see below image on your screen there, and
hello.
Donate. Yeah, hello, Vladi. Just a second, and that link is also down in the description below the screen here, so you can click on that. And no amount is too small. $1, £1, €1. Geez, boy, I'm having a hard time today. €1. Just donate, and so we can help the people in LA. Okay, now to welcome our guests, we have from Fountain, Colorado, we have Lee. How's it going, Lee?
Hey, pretty good.
Cool. And from the Shires in the UK, we have Vladi. How's it going, Vladi?
Hello there. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. It's warmed up slightly here.
Well, it hasn't here, man. We got like 6 to 8 inches of snow where I was.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Here it's just very windy, though. It's like very mild but windy all of a sudden, and cloudy as ever.
Yeah, I think, Lee, you got like you saying pre-stream, you got like 2 inches, didn't you, or something like that?
It's like 2 or 3 inches, something like that.
Yeah,
it varied a little bit from day to day.
Yeah, it's supposed to, here in Colorado, it's supposed to get up around into the 60s, and that's Fahrenheit, which would be, I am guessing that's going to be around 15, maybe 13 degrees Celsius, maybe. I think something like that. So was kind of unseasonably warm here for a while. Then it got super cold down into like the minus 18 Celsius. We got down to here, and then it shot back up to like 15 degrees Celsius. And then now it snowed 8 inches last night. So they have a saying around here in Denver: if you don't like our weather, stick around for 15 minutes. Because it changes quite a bit, So anyway, it is what it is. The weather is what the weather is. So how are you guys doing there, Vladi? What's going on? How you faring these days?
Not too bad. I finished early on Friday, so a little nap in the afternoon. I was knackered.
Yeah. How about you, Lee?
Come again? Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah. How's it going? How you doing?
Oh, doing fine. It's finally warming up down here, so snow's melting.
Oh, that's good.
We'd all feel a lot better if the Alita sequels went ahead.
Yeah, we would feel a lot better,
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, why are they making us suffer? At least give us an update, Cameron, instead of talking about Terminator.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, another thing was, like, I think I told everybody that I went to see Captain America: Brave New World last week.
Don't even remind me.
And
Justice for Rosa Salazar.
Yeah, that's right. I would say if you're going to see that movie to see Rosa, don't do it, because
obviously
Rosa's not in it.
You should be outside the theater protesting, telling people not to go in.
I don't know about that, Vladi, but I was
placard saying justice for Alita, justice for Rosa.
Yeah, I was disappointed when she didn't show up in the movie. Now, that said, I mean, I was entertained by the movie, but I am not going to go back and see it again. I mean, I left the movie thinking it was a little bit, something was lacking. I couldn't put my finger on it, The story in a couple of places seemed chopped up a little bit, but, I think, but it was entertaining to a degree. But I tell you, I've seen some of these, I guess, entertainment pundits, that they were saying that they're predicting that Captain America 4 is going to have a gigantic fall off this next
It's
week.
going to make about $30 million this weekend, which is pretty big fall off, like 70% or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Marvel always has big drop offs because all the like fanboys come out and see it in the first week because they don't want to get spoilers, and then just nobody else in society gives a shit.
Yeah,
But,
that's right.
Yeah, it's going to have a massive fall off. It's probably going to lose Disney about $300 million. So great job, Bob Iger. Really managing your franchise as well there.
Yeah, I think Mr. H Reviews was thinking that it wasn't even going to make $400 million worldwide.
Yeah, it's going to make about 400 million total, and then Disney gets about 200 million of that, and then they're lying about the 180 million budget. That's about double what they're saying, and so they're going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars. Heads should roll, and there probably won't be any like spin-offs or sequels for it because it's lost so much money. So I don't think we'll see the Serpent Society again.
Well, I'm surprised that it's gonna if it makes 400 million. I don't think it is. I think it's gonna be around 380 or 390 maybe. You know, that's what I'm thinking. Because you know, for one thing, it didn't do very well at all domestically, and you know it's
for Marvel levels when it used to be such a massive juggernaut.
Well, and two, you know, it made more money internationally than it did, than it did domestically here, you know, in the U.S. And I would say that it's, you know, I think internationally it's going to be a huge freaking drop off because people aren't going to go watch the movie that's about a superhero from a country that's not their country, you know. So I guess
they need to make Captain Britain.
Well, there's some rumors about that. The Henry Cavill's going to do that. But
God.
Yeah, we'll see. You know, a lot of rumors on that one.
Hopefully not.
I think it might.
It's so simplistic. It's like such a baby thing. Like all these American comic books are just for the like infantile minds.
And from Poland, we have Channel. How's it going, Channel?
Hey, Channel.
It's good to see you or hear you or see your PFP. So how are things in Poland?
Nothing Alita related.
Yeah, I know.
No.
Yeah. And we were just talking about that. It amazes me that, you know, Disney has this wonderful IP that they can really make some money on, I think. And they just keep throwing the bullshit at us. You know,
Disney has a lot of IPs that they could do something interesting with, but remakes require less risk taking than writing a sequel or, you know, doing something interesting with an IP. So they're just gonna keep pumping remakes as much as they can. I mean, a lot of their IPs do have room for a sequel. And before people were complaining Disney's only making sequels. Well, Disney decided, nah, we're gonna be even lazier now.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to be much more lazier than we've ever been. So yeah. So anyway, it's disheartening, particularly, you know, for those of us in the Alita army, because we really think Alita would be a great set of sequels.
It's like Alita's such a great IP. It's just such a criminal waste of like culture. I think it's like a crime against humanity.
A lot of the IPs they're buying, and specifically Alita, they're not buying because they want to expand it. They're buying because they don't want someone else to expand it and become competition.
Yeah,
that's true. And that's why they won't let someone else make the Alita sequels. Because if they let someone else make it, then that makes loads of money. Then the execs just look even worse as well, the Disney execs. So it's like they just can't win. The Disney execs just can't win with Alita. Because they have to either double down.
If they sold the rights to Alita now, and whoever buys them makes the movie and makes tons of money, it's gonna make it look like, well, we could have made that money. But if they make the movie and it doesn't make as much money as they want to, well, now they're gonna, well, we wasted all that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very true.
So anyway, it's
they own too many IPs to sensibly manage. Like they would have to either split or sell some IPs, or some of them will stay shelved because like, they own too many IPs to realistically manage all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, there should be a shift in like Hollywood with like Marvel dropping. It's not as big as it once was. surely they're going to have to look for new IP. But we were saying that in 2023 when the Captain Marvel sequel came out and was like the biggest flop ever.
No
And
kidding.
they still haven't changed course.
Yeah. That was a humongous flop.
I think
Complete
part of the
karma.
reason, something that hurt both Captain Marvel and Alita was the movies being constantly pinned against each other. Like, if you like one, you can't like the other. But like, even if some of the fandom was very contrary to the other one, like those two movies don't have to be and shouldn't be seen as like either you like one or the other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
For sure. Yeah.
It's not like they're playing at the same time only once and you're only allowed to see one.
Yeah.
Well,
So
Captain Marvel did come in and steal all the IMAX screens, which was a bit annoying.
So
Yeah.
this strong dichotomy actually discouraged people who liked Marvel from ever even giving Alita a try.
Yeah. I'm convinced if 20th Century Fox hadn't have been purchased by Disney, we'd have a sequel by now, I think. Because I think Alita would have made more money, I think, if 20th Century Fox hadn't have disbanded, you know.
And I don't know, there is some resentment towards Captain Marvel as well because the media was treating that like some kind of like great film and they were treating Alita like it was trash.
Yeah.
Like, they would be better off not coming out at the exact same time, but again, the strong dichotomy of either you like Alita or Captain Marvel hurt both movies.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like that old argument, do you like Star Trek or Star Wars? Well, why can't you like both of them? I mean, you know, seriously, you can be entertained by both, you know. I mean, you don't have to pick, you know. That's the way I think about it too as well. Yeah, I think you're right, Bad Man. I think it is a little too late for them to try to, you know, hide stuff from us, but they'll continue to try, I imagine. So
they don't care what people think about. They don't care what people think about them. They only care if they're getting cliche.
Yep, that's right.
Okay.
Oh well, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. They only care if they're. They only care if it's making the money, and they really could not care less if you're watching their movies because you love them, or if you're just hate watching.
Yeah.
As long as you're watching.
Yeah.
Well, they're not really watching the new Captain America, so
there is that. Yeah.
They don't care if you're watching it and analyzing it, or if you're watching it as a background noise while you're making yourself pasta. If it's being played, it's being played. It doesn't matter if you're buying the merch because you think it's pretty, or if you're buying it because you hate it so much you want to burn it at the stake. You bought it, they get money.
Yeah.
They and they're like the studios are even making stuff like that now. So they make it specifically so it's like you can have it on in the background because that's how everyone watches stuff now.
Yeah.
They'll constantly give like exposition updates every 5 minutes just to remind you what's going on because they know people are just like cooking dinner or whatever whilst they're watching things now because everything's on streaming.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sad state of affairs.
Yeah, it is.
We need to like go back to how it once was, return to tradition.
One of the writers of Star Trek Lower Decks, I do not watch Star Trek, but I've seen some in an adjacent fandom pop up, that one of the writers of Star Trek Lower Decks was told that they should have less shit happening in one episode because if someone is only half watching while making dinner, then they're not going to be able to keep up. And the writer's answer is, this is a streaming show. So if someone is only half watching, that means they picked it out, clicked play, and they stopped paying attention. And no amount of hand-holding is going to help them if they themselves at some point just completely stop paying attention.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Why should I write the show with keeping in mind the person who isn't actually going to be watching the show?
Yeah, exactly.
Good point. Oh, well, I guess I'll tell you this. I'm still supremely confident that we're going to get a sequel, but we're going to have to be patient, you know, is what I think. So
a lot of people just think we're just waiting for Cameron to get going after like Avatar and stuff. But that's just what makes it so worrying when he talks about making Terminator and things. Like he's got other priorities ahead of Alita, which you just shouldn't.
Yeah. It could have been told by Disney that we want another Terminator movie, you know. So,
well, you should have just said no. The last Terminator movie bombed, and we've had 6 movies already. We don't need another one. It will be a betrayal of all Alita fans. Why does he want that kind of animosity in his life?
And you know, in the last two, or is it three, Terminator movies bombed, didn't they? I can't if I
The last one made like half amount of what Alita made. It just doesn't even make sense on a financial level.
Yeah.
And it's culturally irresponsible to do that. Like, we don't need another Terminator movie as a culture. Just because what AI can now like talk to you better, he thinks that that means that we need more Terminator AI movies. No, we need Alita. I'm just going to yell at him so much at the Avatar 3 trailer.
Terminator. The reason people like Terminator movies in terms of AI is because Terminator ideas of AI are something that you can fight in a way that looks cool. Because let's be honest, more realistic AI threats like data scraping, I mean, it's kind of scary, but it's not that scary viscerally, physically, and fighting it doesn't look cool. Like
you can't make it a spectacle on the silver screen.
Yeah,
yeah.
you fight a legal battle about remove my data from some data bank. It doesn't look cool, but fighting a robot with explosions, now that can look cool. So people just, and that you can have like an amazing hero there. So people prefer an apocalypse where you can have an amazing hero that looks cool than an apocalypse that just kind of sucks but isn't as spectacular.
I agree. I agree.
And studios love pushing that spectacular version because that distracts people from actual dangers. Because
I think they could make it. I think they could make Alita fights, so you know we should have with other cyborgs. So I think they could make that look cool.
Yeah, obviously, Alita's got loads of fights.
I talked to a real person in my family who thought the main danger with technology and biological technology isn't things like companies making you pay way more, suddenly changing prices on the internal implants or something, which would be an actual danger. No, he thought it would be mind-controlled cyborg armies.
Yeah.
This isn't just it's something that looks cool in fiction, but there are people who believe this to be an actual real-life threat of how that would work.
Yeah.
Which is both funny and scary, because how do you come off to believing that that's the more realistic threat?
Yeah.
More realistic than what? Sorry.
I think we'll get our. Well, I'm really confident we're going to get our sequel, but I think it's going to be a little while longer. So, But anyway, let me move on to this, and we get to the main topic. We do have Rose's Queen Studios bust, and as soon as she's ready for it, we'll get it to her, because I know she wants it, and we want to get it to her, and it's just a matter of time, so.
Literally everything is just on pause till Cameron starts making sequels.
It seems that way, doesn't it?
Like, can we just all go in just freeze ourselves until that happens or something?
Yeah. I kind of agree with you, though, Vladi. I think in that, granted he's busy with the avatars, but he could at least, give us a little update or something like that, I think, so.
Yeah, that's the most worrying thing. When he's giving interviews about what he's doing in the future and he's not mentioning Alita.
Yeah.
He could say, oh, we're still working on the sequels or something.
Yes. And the fandom could give fanfic writers some more attention.
Yeah, they could. I agree with that too. Yep.
I straight up just stopped writing Alita fanfic because, it kind of feels like a why.
No.
Well, because it's fun. That's the only thing.
It's fun in other fandoms too, and in other fandoms there's some kind of there's more interaction with it, and less policing.
Yeah.
I still have some Alita fanfics that I just never uploaded because I wrote them for fun and just decided why bother putting them up.
Mm-hmm. Could post them in the Reddit.
Yeah.
Reddit subreddit.
Or in the gaming network,
Or AO3, the main place where you put fanfics.
Oh.
Fanfiction.net's cool too, but I don't use it because the filtering system is trash.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, let me get through this. As soon as Rose is ready, we'll get her Queen Studios bust, and this for us, this is an expression of our appreciation, admiration, and affection for our queen. So when she's ready, we'll get it to her. And we got the Alita sequel petition going on, and we've added in just a little over 3 months, we've added 158 signatures. I'm still kind of holding my powder or keeping my powder dry, as they used to say in the old days, to see when this is really going to. I think it's kind of slowed down a lot now. So, after I get past these next couple of competitions I'm in, then we're going to come back and see about, putting some more money in there and driving that up, some more. So, it's moving along. It's plugging along, almost over 178,000 signatures. So, there's a lot of people that want a petition. I mean, want a sequel, and as you can see from the petition. But anyway, there's the link below the image on your screen there. That link is also down in the description. You just click on it. It'll take you to it. You put your name and email address in there, and you can specify that to be anonymous as well. You don't have to let everybody know what your name and your email address is. And if you want to donate, you can click on the button that says donate, and you can put whatever you want in it, but you don't have to do that to support or sign the petition. So if you haven't signed the petition, please click on that and do so. And that's going to be our way of keeping Bob Iger, keep his memory, fresh, that the Alita Army wants a sequel. And we got the Alita Gaming Network. It's still pretty small because, as I say every week, we're not really pushing it that hard. But we do live streams on there, of course, or at least we put the links for the live stream. I don't think I put the link for the live stream for this stream in it this week, but I will put it in there after the stream is over. And you can post your own content in there if you do live streams. I know Chaos Nova does live streams, and he'll put his link in there, and Radio Chaos puts their link in there. And most of the time I put the link to this stream in there. And you can also upload your own stuff if you've written a fanfic, or if you've done some artwork. You can upload that. Matu and I police this, but we haven't really had much of our job is not very difficult in that regard, because the Alita Army is pretty good. They don't put anything untoward in it, so, but if you want, there's the link you see below our little chibi Alita mascot. Click on that. It'll take you to it. And that doesn't look like the right link to me. I don't think it is. The correct link is down in the description. So I think that link's already expired. I don't know how that got in there, unless I did a copy and paste and forgot to change it, probably. But the correct link is down in the description. So just click on that and it'll take you. That I think it is bad, man. It might be an old slide. It could be. I can't remember how I put this together, but once again, just click on that link down in the description, and that will be the correct link. Okay, before we really get to the topic of whether Alita will kill Nova in the manga or not, I mean in the sequels or not, keep in mind that in the manga she does kill Nova. And you can see there, Nova.
That's not the version of Nova she killed, though.
Oh, is that not the right version?
Yeah, I mean, the first picture, that is the version of Nova she killed. The middle picture, that's the version killed by Jim Roscoe. Alita found him that way after being respawned. Because Alita wouldn't have known to go for the stomach. She doesn't know about the second chip. She only cut his head. That's why the killing didn't stick.
Oh. Well, be that as it may, she does kill Nova in the manga. Now, what happens is that he comes back to life pretty much because he's got that nanite kind of network.
Reports.
Yeah, that's right. That rebuilds him if he gets injured, I guess. And it was funny. The next few slides, or a few frames, rather, or panels after that one on the left, she says, he gets back up, and she said, I thought I killed you. And that was kind of funny because she did kill him. But he's I guess he's biologically immortal or got Methuselization going and stuff like that. So he's
I think what he's got is actually more advanced than Methuselization. He's got like full immortality as long as the nanites are working.
yeah, that's right. So
Because methylization just means you're not aging. It doesn't mean you're growing body parts. And Body specifically had to reprint himself that the arm that was mutilated, the hand that was mutilated. By the way, if you remember from the second picture, Alita herself is looking at it, trying to remember if she's the one who did it or not, because he's dead. But she clearly remembers killing him with a clean cut, and this is
yeah,
a sloppy mess. Like, I would not have killed him this messily.
yeah, I guess she wouldn't. I get you. That's a good point, Matt. Too. I think she'd be more efficient, wouldn't she? She'd be more.
Like, she remembers doing it with a sword, which this is clearly not the job of a sword. This
Yeah,
is
that's
blunt
right.
force trauma.
Yeah, that's right. So
Like,
anyway,
Mahfouz in
but
the comments?
I'm sorry,
Mahfouz in the comments?
I didn't understand you. What?
Matu's in the chat. Is that what you're saying?
I don't see her.
Yeah, no, because you said Matu, so.
Oh, well, a while ago I said Matt too because she and I police the Alita Gaming Network.
No, but like right now.
Oh, well, if I said Matu, I didn't mean to. You know, oh, that just rhymed. I didn't know I could rhyme that easily. But no, she's not in the chat. So yeah, I did invite her though. You know, but you know, I guess she's got some stuff going on there. I also invited Angelus too, but he has weird work schedules. You never know what's going on with him. So
he's got to sort that out.
Yeah, he does. So anyway,
well, I'm his replacement.
Just
I'm his cheap replacement.
Yeah, that middle image notwithstanding, Alita does kill Nova in the manga. She does do that. Now the question is, will she kill Nova in the sequels? Now we do know, you know, based on what James Cameron told Forbes magazine in that interview, that he is working on you know, I guess the script or the treatment or whatever it is, you know, for Alita 2 and 3, because he said the Alita sequels. And he himself has also called out the names of those sequels, Alita Fallen Angel and Alita Avenging Angel. The question is, you know, is he going to write, you know, part in that treatment or script or whatever, or screenplay, is he going to write in a portion of that where Alita kills Nova? You know, I have my own view of that. You know, I think in terms of Alita Fallen Angel, I think it's going to be a little more difficult in that one. If he's going to kill Nova, I don't think he's going to do it in Alita Fallen Angel. But anyway, because in Alita Fallen Angel, of course, you know, if the Creek gets what he wants, then the Alita Fallen Angel will have the Motorball and Zerkerpan arcs, and it'll be 3 hours long. Now, that said, you know, we've had discussions on other streams, Radio Chaos and this stream, whether or not this will actually be 2 different sequels, the Motorball arc being one sequel and the Zerkerpan arc being the other sequel, you know, Alita 3. And then after that, you know, if they do that, then the Creek is going to also get his wish in that he might get upwards to 6 movies on that one. But the reason, now here's my take on it, I'm going to turn it over to you guys. I think it's going to be difficult for them to write Alita killing Nova in the Motorball arc or the Zerkerpan arc, because really Nova doesn't have a super big part in either one of those arcs, except for the Zerkerpan arc. He does give Zapan the Berserker body, but I don't think we would see a lot of him in that arc. You know, now they could write anything they want into
that would be a pretty big deal, though, giving him the Berserker body.
Yes, it would.
In the manga, the first time Alita and Nova physically meet, and the first time Alita manages to injure Nova, and thinks she killed him, but because, you know, she only stabbed him for the forehead, and it didn't touch the brain chip, so it's just a lot of blood loss and nothing else for him. So that happens in the Zerkerpan arc, but in the movie, Nova isn't on the ground, which he was on the manga.
Mhm.
So basically, Nova would either, for some reason, have to be sent down to the ground, or more likely, one of Nova's agents on the ground would be the one doing the body. Now, I thought the character it makes more sense for would be Sharon, but they already offed her, so I have no idea who would it be.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a little problem they written themselves into.
Yeah. At this point in the story, I kind of agree with Badman in that, it would be difficult to kill him off this early in the story, I think. If they were going to do more than one movie, I think they're going to have to keep him around at least for a while,
This is definitely not a permanent death. Like they could
Yeah.
temporarily kill him, or like here would be where they reveal that there's multiple Novas and we only killed one, or like that he responds, which is how it's revealed in a manga, but at least that he can regenerate, not that he can respawn yet. But again, how would you do it in the movie since he's not on the ground?
Well, that's right. So that makes
So
it
that's the problem. That is the problem I was talking about that they wrote themselves into.
The one thing they might do is kind of like what they did similar to, did you guys ever see that movie Troy? Did you see that?
Tron.
Yeah, Troy. Not
Troy.
Tron. Troy.
The ancient Greek movie.
Yeah, that's
I saw
right.
that.
Yeah, they could do that in a way that, like in that movie, what happened was is that Achilles had a cousin. I can't remember his name now. Had a cousin who was just desperate and wanted to fight alongside Achilles and stuff. And Achilles kept relegating him to kind of support roles, to clean up the ship or, help the injured or whatever it was, but not to really get involved in a fight, himself, because he didn't think his cousin was ready for it. But what happened was in the movie is that, I guess somehow his cousin got a hold of Achilles' armor and went out and he was a good fighter because he trained with Achilles, and he goes out and he starts slaughtering these Trojan soldiers, and then Hector happens upon the scene, and him and Hector get in the fight. Hector kills him, thinking that he's Achilles, And then, of course, they take off his helmet, and they find out, oh, it's not Achilles, it's his cousin, that kind of thing. They could do something similar here. Like, for instance, we do know that Nova had some clones, didn't he, or something like that, or copies of himself.
He started making the copies of himself after his respawning method was his respawning cocoons kept getting burned down.
Yeah, but they could alter that in the movie, though. They could, they could have him making copies of himself more, earlier, And then, of course, Alita kills one of these clones, and they find out that that's not really Nova. It's one of his copies,
Or
They could do something like that in the movies, I guess. Or what
it would make sense that he started doing it earlier, since this version of Nova is way older, so he had more time to come up with and perfect all of his ideas.
Yeah.
But instead of just decoy clones like it was in the manga, remember the manga? We also had at one point 3 versions of Nova, both all functioning, not just as decoy clones, but like a fully functioning consciousness of Nova at the same time. Very briefly, usually there's just 1 or 2, but there was for a time 3. So what if you have like a network of Novas connected in a similar way as Den and Chaos were? So you have multiple bodies, but they are in some level linked in consciousness. So it's not just a decoy clone. It is actually him being in multiple places.
Yeah.
A Nova hive mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, like not.
Oh, and to Alita Killing Angel's answer to my question, I guess, Achilles' cousin's name was Patroclus. So thanks for that, Alita Killing Angel. I appreciate that. And Badman says, how do you roll, in tongue-in-cheek, I'm assuming, how do you roll a wooden horse up to Zalem or Teferis?
Also.
Up the supply tube.
In the manga, Nova says that whenever he sleeps, it's in the notes that whenever he sleeps, it backs up his memory. So whenever he dies, he doesn't remember the day of his death. He only remembers everything up to the last time he backed up his memory. So up to the last time he slept. which by the way makes me question, like, if he has a great idea or something, or like something interesting happens, and he's about to go into danger, does he take a quick nap to update himself? Which, second thing, maybe those clones are like the Nova hive mind isn't synced like constantly, but in a similar way, they just whenever one of them goes, they just have some kind of shared drive that they update each other to, that themselves to regularly. So when one of them dies, the other ones don't immediately know it. They just notice after like a few days, no updates from that guy, must be dead.
Yeah.
So it's not more than just like letter communication. They can update their consciousness, but it's not constant connection. It's just like every few hours or like every few days, they just update the collective consciousness.
I wonder if those clones know that they are clones, if they're not the real thing.
I mean, they're not dumb enough to all think they're the original. Like, they might have enough hubris to all think, well, I'm technically the main one. They would be proud enough to all think that they're the main one, but they're not dumb enough to all think they're the original.
Yeah, it might be like the AR units too, to where AR1 thought that if she could kill Alita, would that make her would that make her like Alita, the original?
Because if Nova's brain is no longer, functional, because no brain would be that functional that long, technically none of them are the original. So like they could argue that, well, I am the oldest clone, so therefore I am basically the original. And another one would be like, well, I'm one of the newest clones, which means I have the most updates and I am the most optimized, so actually I am the most important one.
Yeah.
So they would all think that they're the most important one, but they're not dumb enough to all think they're the real deal or the original.
Yeah, I think not. Which would be like AR1 thought before she fought Alita, so.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think it would be very difficult to kill Nova in the Alita 2. I think that would be that. I don't think that would work in the story.
I mean, he's kind of like the big bad that they set up. They wouldn't kill him in the second.
I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Maxi. He pointed out that it seemed like the movie version of Nova is like a mashup of Destiny Nova and Embody from the Last Order arc.
Oh.
And kinda even Bigot Einsberg.
A bit of that, yeah. So it could be that being that he's now the overarching villain of the entire story, it's probably not going to be any kind of a showdown between the two until much, much later, maybe even towards the end of the story.
Which would be a shame if they shoved together Nova and Embody into one character, because they're both interesting villains, but in completely different ways. They have completely different strategies, and if you shove them together, they somehow become kind of more generic.
Yeah. I like Battle Angel fans' take here. He wants to see her Nova get killed by Alita multiple times.
I mean, that would be more realistic. He does almost die multiple times in the series.
Yeah. So anyway, I think in the Motorball arc particularly, it would be very, very difficult to kill.
Yeah, I just don't see any way for him to be putting himself in danger like that.
Yeah.
Unless he has multiple bodies and he decides like which one of them he can currently put in danger. He would never put all of them in danger at the same time, but like one or two,
That's the thing. I can't see him even making clone bodies. I mean, it would be interesting, I guess, but he's got that ability to take over anybody he wants. Anytime he wants a body, he's got a whole stable full of them in the city below.
Unless he wanted people to think it was him that was down there. If he had a clone down there, they'd think it was him, and he could take care of him, But
that's the problem you get when you fuse Embody with Nova, because it would be completely out of character for Embody to do, and completely in character for Nova to do.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, the movie Nova doesn't have enough screen time or enough lines to, properly discern what his personality and strategy are like.
Yeah. Yeah, the only lines he had was spoken by Vector, weren't they?
The main lines he has is basically either being manipulative or gloating, and it's not really that much.
Yeah. Yeah, because we only see him in the movie twice, don't we? We see
Well,
him.
it could be that they have a much more embody-like villain for later on, because one of the themes that seemed to be about the movie was worlds above, basically levels of power and control above levels of power and control. So
Mm-hmm.
you have Iron City, and above that is Zalem.
Mm-hmm.
And in every likelihood, there is another level of control even above that even Nova has to answer to.
Mm-hmm. Which could be the big bad.
Which could be somebody much more like Aga Embody from the manga.
Yeah.
We have in the manga the parallel when Koyomi talks about why Zalem needs to fall. She talks like, if it's true that they're up there, there's people and not gods, meaning it implies that some people in Iron City aren't sure if maybe gods are up there. And again, earlier we see a cult worshipping Zalem. So we have the notion of above us are gods. And then in Zalem, we see one of the women say in Zalem said at some point, like, if God lives on Earth, it'd be in Jeru.
Mm-hmm.
So again, like above us is in the city above us is God, and unless you consider Embody like a god, neither of those assessments are correct.
Mm.
Well, it could be like the way, if you want to think of this parallel too, is like in that time period, maybe Earth or Iron City is hell, Zalem is purgatory, and Jeru is heaven. Maybe that's part of that too. I guess could be. I guess so.
What's the underworld then?
Well, that would be below hell, wouldn't it? Be the second level of hell, I guess. I don't know. But I think
worlds above worlds above worlds.
That's right. Yeah, I that was prophetic, wasn't it? I mean, what Gruishka said, he said, when he said worlds above worlds, that's three. That's three worlds he references. And that would be
something that was referenced in the notes that somebody posted that Cameron had written, is that one of the things that I guess they were going to go into is each level of control lies to the level below it. So people below will never know the full truth of what's going on above them.
Mm.
I mean, often people don't know what the hell is happening in their own level.
Yeah, exactly.
They know even less about the level above and below them.
You keep people misinformed so you can control what they know and what they understand and what they think they know.
Mm-hmm. Well, if they make Motorball Arc itself, if they make that Alita 2 and they make Berserker Pan Arc Alita 3, it could be that they could maybe kill Nova in the Berserker Pan Arc. The only problem I would have with that would be, here's what I think. I think when they do greenlight these sequels, when finally people say, look, we're just, Disney says this, we're just not making any money. We got to do something, because we're losing money year after year, in spite of having big blockbusters like Deadpool and Wolverine and that kind of thing. We're still losing money. We got to do something, and hopefully that's when they pull out Alita, say, well, what do we got to lose? Let's go ahead and put Alita out there. And now here's where Cameron would have to, kind of make sure that he has creative control of it, because if they just throw it out there like they do these reboots or these remakes that they're doing of Marvel films, it's going to be a fucking disaster is what it's going to be. So they need to let Cameron, kind of do his thing with this. Him and I think they need to let Rodriguez back in there for it too. I don't think it's
Definitely.
I don't think this is something they can ignore, But I think once they come to that realization, because really their management decisions have got to be based on, hey, we got to make money. We got to. If we don't make money, we're not going to stay in business. So that's
Disney are like so big, they're almost like too big to fail.
Well, they said they thought that back in 2008 with a lot of the banks in the U.S. And of course, they thought they were too big to fail, and a bunch of them crashed.
And then we bailed them out, didn't we? The government bailed them out.
Yeah. So they're still around.
No, they're still
Disney
around.
is almost like on the banking level anyway. They're like all tied into like the establishment and like the military and everything. So
they have
probably get
control
bailed
of
out
way
as well.
too much. But as it stands, a lot of that stuff, Creek, you were talking about, they would be unwise to ignore it.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they won't ignore it.
That's exactly right. It could be that they would be unwise, right, Lee?
They have been rather unwise so far.
Yeah. So, but anyway, but my thought is, though, that even if they were to split this up and make this 2 and 3 right here, Motorball Arc and Zerkapan Arc, in my opinion, now this is just my opinion, I think Alita would make more money in a sequel and a third movie than it did in the first movie, because she was done dirty by during the merger, and they did not really market that movie very well. They did not, and it still made money.
Yep. That's
So
the thing. A lot of people were saying it's like they just hadn't heard of the movie before. So if it had been marketed, those are people that probably would have seen it when it first came out in the theaters if it had been marketed correctly.
The first mistake they made was releasing the first trailer with the dodgy eyes.
Yeah.
That didn't help either,
the merger gutted like the marketing team and everything, so there just wasn't like a big push for it. And it was just dumped to basically just hopefully get lost, and then Disney can just crack on with like Marvel and eventually rebooting X-Men and shit, which is what they wanted Fox for. Yeah. Which I hope all that stuff bombs. Like, I don't want more X-Men movies. Like, come on. The X-Men, I've seen the X-Men movies, and I don't want any more.
But here's the thing. They can make their X-Men movies all they want as long as they let Robert Rodriguez do another Alita movie. He's not involved in X-Men.
I won't give a shit what they do as long as they make the Alita sequel. It's what annoys me about all the other movies they're making is just so objectively inferior on an artistic and like cinematic level compared to what Alita would be.
Yeah.
Which is actually part of maybe why Alita isn't being made, because with how Alita fans are acting, like, I'm not even surprised there was a conspiracy theory that the Alita fandom is 90% bots.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to. Well, I know from my subscribers, I don't know what percentage of them are bots. Maybe.
What do you mean channel? Sorry. What are you referring to?
There was
Well, they say that about a lot of vocal fandoms on Twitter.
Yeah.
Anytime there's a bunch of people tweeting about something and they don't like the film, they're always like,
usually when it's a bunch of people tweeting about, writing about something, it's that they're annoying, they're basically obsessing over it. But with other fandoms that are overanalyzing their things, it's like, okay, people who have way too much free time. With Alita, it's sometimes like, it's just the hashtag Alita, give us sequel. Yeah, it's bots.
Yeah,
they may think that because that's right. They may think that because of that. They might do that,
But there were plenty of people tweeting like actual reasons and
there are plenty, but there's way more just bot-like behavior.
It seems
it depends. It's because when there's a fan push, there's the whole point of like these tweet storms is that everyone tweets as much as they can to get it trending. Obviously, that appears to be more bot-like behavior, but that's just humans trying to make as much noise as possible. It's like when you're outside chanting in the street, you're all chanting the same slogan. Or just because you're chanting the same thing over and over, it doesn't make you bots.
Which in real life, it works as a human chanting, because, in real life, it's just humans that do that. But online, it's something that you can easily replicate with bots, so it looks like bot behavior, even if it is human behavior.
Well, yeah, we've had to deal with that dehumanization our whole like fandom life.
Well, I think on my
especially since this is a fandom that is kind of known for overusing AI art.
Yeah, well, I have to plead guilty to that myself.
Back in the day, when we were like spamming tweets and stuff.
There wasn't really AI art back then because it wasn't a popular thing yet, or an easily available thing yet.
Battle Angel fan says he's been called bot many times. It's pretty insulting.
Battle Angel fan. It's dehumanization. You shouldn't stand for it.
Yes. Well, I don't know what percentage of my subscribers are bots, but I have a feeling that it's a minority, you know. So
No,
I
yours
mean,
are all just like based Indians.
Indians, Indonesians, although a quarter of my fans or my subscribers are Americans. So, you know, I mean, it's that's fairly significant. You know, most of my you're right though, Vladi, most of my subscribers are international. So, you know, but I don't know what percentage of my subscribers are bots. If there is any bots, you know, I don't know. In subscribers,
Nobody said your subscribers are bots, Creaky. You don't need to be.
Oh, I know, but what I'm saying is, I'm just what I'm trying to answer to here is that, you know, that conspiracy theory that there are a lot of bots in the Alita army.
They say that about the Schneider fans as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Fans with like a mission that makes lots of
exactly. And I don't think we are. I think the largest majority of us are good old regular humans. You know, that's what I think. You know, with the occasional 1% cyborg like Maxie.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's still a human.
Yeah, he's still human. Yeah, so is Tilly, you know, but they're cyborgs. So, so anyway, that is what it is. But anyway, we got off the topic there, I guess, which is okay. I don't mind. So, will Alita kill Nova and the Alita Fallen Angel? See, I don't think so, you know, but and you guys don't feel that way either, do you? I don't.
Nah, no way. Unless they have to wrap it up in one movie.
Yeah.
I would say yes if he was on the surface. Like, this might be the first time she kills him, but considering he's not on the surface now, maybe in like the second movie it could end with him being cast down onto the surface, because it turns out like it would be funny. He's not, if he was not the one it would feel a bit like a retcon, but he's not the one ruling Zalem, or like not the only one ruling Zalem.
Or there's an uprising of some sort.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if it was an uprising, they more likely just kill him. But
yeah,
they're like, the Watcher is a important role of like controlling the surface, but he's not the only ruler of Zalem, and like whoever else rules Zalem just got tired of him and dumped him down.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of levels above Zalem, I found something in Cameron's notes about the upward spiral of revelation.
Ah.
The world of the 26th century is a metaphor for the principle of, you know, levels above levels.
Yeah.
There is the underworld, the ruins below Iron City. Then the lower world, Iron City, the agricultural region, and the Badlands. Above that is Zalem. And above that, Center Point. Midway up the space elevator, 30,000 miles in space, the zero-G hub and space docks. And then above that is the nearly mythical Catheres Elion, the Star City, gateway to interplanetary and interstellar space.
Why did they change the name from Jeru? Jeru was better. Is because Jerusalem. Why are you so? Why are they allergic to the Jerusalem? Why would they keep Zalem but change Jeru?
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't. Maybe they wanted to separate it from like biblical metaphors or something.
Yeah, it could be.
Well, who came up with the Jeru thing? I thought that was something the fans came up with.
No, it was originally Jerusalem. They changed it to Typhares and Cateres, so Americans wouldn't get confused with the Zalem where they burn witches.
Okay.
We haven't.
Well, there was no. There hasn't been anything I've encountered in the notes from Cameron about Jeru and Zalem.
I like all the biblical metaphors and stuff that are in the film.
Yeah, I like that too.
I don't really care.
I mean, Alita revived after 3 days.
Why don't you like it, Creek?
I'm just. I guess you could say, well, I'm not an atheist, but I'm just I'm
more secular.
I'm more secular about it, I guess.
I don't want Alita to get super religious, but like for some religious metaphors and religious imagery are perfectly fine for me. And forcefully sterilizing, so making a work way too religious kind of comes off preachy, I guess, but forcefully sterilizing a work of all religious implications feels just as wrong. And
well, they haven't so far, have they? They've kept Zalem.
No, that's right.
Yeah, why would you do this? They actually added something. I think in one of the scenes, Yugo has a cross in the movie, which he never did in the manga. So they Christianized him, which
let me stop y'all right there just for a second. I want to welcome Odd John.
I don't remember properly.
John from Arkansas. How's it going, John?
Hey there, don't mind the whining dog in the background. Can y'all hear me pretty good?
Yeah, well, you're
Yeah.
coming in 5 by 5, as they used to say.
That's good. It's a little windy out here. I had to
It's breaking a
take
bit,
her
but
out.
it's understandable.
I'm
Yeah,
excited
I was
to
going to
see
say
what
that
Alita
Alita. I would say that Alita's got more. I'd say Eastern mysticism and Gnosticism more than anything else, as far as what Kashiro actually took from. But he
Yeah,
kind of grabbed from a lot of different things, really. But I
yeah.
would say Gnosticism's the closest thing.
Well, you
That's a
see that.
whole can of
You see
worms if people want to look into that.
You see that image on the right there? That supposedly is the Bible she's reading. So, you know.
She's a well-read cookies, as far as I remember. So
I mean,
Yeah.
we have a Bible quote in volume 5, and we have the same volume explaining the concept of karma as the most
Right.
important force in the universe. So, like, that's a pretty good example of
yeah,
the manga doesn't takes from religious themes, but is more than just one religion.
Yeah.
I think there was that one quote. I think it was Leviticus where it says the goat will go into the wilderness. Is right before the Berserker hand fight. Oh my God, the dog's crying.
What's she whining about?
She doesn't. I just got to the dog park and that's
okay.
she doesn't like riding in the car that much.
I see.
She turns into a whiny brat whenever we're in the car.
Well, when you said the goat will go in the forest, you mean the greatest of all time will go in the forest?
The goat. Yes.
The lamb.
Yeah, that's the way I interpret things anyway. So anyway, John, I think all of us before you came on agreed that we did not think Alita would kill Nova in Alita 2. Do you agree with that or disagree?
I don't. I'd be surprised if he actually dies at all, but I think that if they want to leave the door open to do more projects, they probably won't. I don't think, or at least the Nova that she thinks she knows won't be killed, because we know there's more than one, and I don't think they're going to just throw that away.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I know that a lot of Hollywood's kind of overdone the whole. See, that's the thing that makes me sad about Alita. The one thing, as far as the timing on when it came out, I know some people have said it came out a couple decades too late. I don't care as long as they do it. But my thing is, so many of those ideas have been done over and over and over, and I have no problem with it. But I think that I don't think there's anything wrong with them doing it that way if they decide to. But a lot of people see that and like, oh, it's just more of the same old. I'm like, yeah, except this predates a lot of the crap that y'all watched. By like 30 years, I think, actually.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. Well, I guess, but Marvel and DC and all that has been around since the 60s and 50s.
Yeah.
DC's been around since the 30s.
More than that, I don't know. I think a lot of people would call it predictable, but I think in Alita's world, it makes a lot. It has a lot more. It makes a lot more sense if that makes sense.
I agree.
I've seen someone like a whole chain that really well illustrates this of someone talking that the Zalem from the Alita movie looks very similar to one of the shots of one of the shots of like Asgard or something from Thor, and someone's like, yeah, but the Thor movie came out before Alita, but the Alita manga came out way before the Thor movie. But that imagery was already in the 4 comics, which came out before the Alita manga. And the concept is way older than both of them. Like that type of visual for floating cities is way older than both of them. So arguing which one of them ripped off the other is kind of pointless.
Well, I think with
Tailpalm Leo actually did a really good video talking about the architecture of the movie and just how much inspiration really went into that. Actually, of all the things in the movie that I like the most from just a design perspective, and there's a lot to like there, but whether it's the different characters and the way they look, but the architecture, man, if y'all have not watched Tailpalm Leo's video on that, you should. It's really interesting.
Definitely checking that.
He's not active anymore, unfortunately, but his channel is still up. He's the one that also did the one talking about the symbolism between lines, straight lines and circles. I think is what it was in the
Yeah,
movie.
he did one about like masks and like
Yep.
CGI. That
It's
one.
brilliant. I think he had some kind of art degree too, because just the way he spoke about it kind of sounded a little more, I guess, professional.
Yeah, so his architecture is about Asgard. Is that what it is?
No, I don't think Asgard got brought up. It was several other things, but yeah. Sorry if my voice is breaking up a bit. It is cold out here. It is so cold out here. But trying to talk while jittering my teeth.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of cold here too, as a matter of fact. But
I can't even complain about the cold. You were in city cold.
Well, I don't know. It's not that bad out there, right? That's like about 40 degrees Fahrenheit, I think. So it's not too bad. But
okay.
It got down to like 3 degrees the other night Fahrenheit.
Oh God.
Minus 17 Celsius. So
I can't do that, man. That's too much.
It's pretty freaking cold, but yeah, one of the things I noticed about Asgard, not to get too far off topic here like we've been doing, but I noticed that
easy to do with me in here.
That's all right. I don't mind at all. But have you seen Asgard? It's flat. Because the water's going off the edge, kind of like in the Pirates movie. I said, I bet
I can't even remember anymore.
The flat earthers probably like that. So
I'd say that I don't actually remember. I can't remember what the Asgard looked like in those movies. It's been so long.
Yeah. Well, in Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, what that is it is flat. They go up near the end and they go over the edge. So anyway, yeah, I agree with you there saying Jedi 9977. I think Alita would do well in Night City. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about Cyberpunk 2077, but I think she'd kick ass there as well. So
haven't we had a stream about that?
Yeah, we did.
I don't think she'd fare too well against V personally.
Well, not against a big corporation. She'd have her hands full. For sure.
No, I mean the main protagonist of that game. I don't think she.
I can guarantee you, her berserker body in the movie is faster and stronger than anything V's got in the video game.
I don't know, man. That would be a good stream topic, actually. I think
we did that about 3 weeks ago. I think we did a.
Oh, really? I missed that. Damn it.
Well, it's about 3 weeks ago. Go check it out. I can't remember the name of that individual.
I need to watch that.
Well, we kind of compared him to Gruishka, although I can't remember his name, but he's more powerful than Gruishka.
You're talking about Adam Smasher, I think.
Yeah, Adam Smasher, that's right. Yeah. I think he would mop the floor with Gruishka, I think.
Oh, easily.
Yeah. But saying Jedi 9977 thinks Alita would kick Adam Smasher's butt, and it depends on what body she's in, I think. If she was in her imagination,
Imaginos 2 is gonna win pretty much anything you set it up against.
Yeah.
Unless plot armor requires otherwise.
Yeah. But if she's in the Imaginos 2.1 body, I mean that's damn near Superman level power, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's why when I do power scaling with this IP, I say IP. You get what I mean. I tend to usually just limit it to the movie because it's because manga. Someone's like, well, at that point, manga version clears pretty much everything.
Yeah, that's right. But in her berserker body, I think Adam Smasher. I think she would win, but because she's got the plasma weapon, But
I think the thing people forget is part of why she wins. It has less to do. I mean, yes, the body's part of it, but it's the fact that she, even reduced down to a nugget, is still going to keep fighting, regardless of if she's got an arm left or
Yeah.
She may not come out of it alive, but she's gonna take you down with her.
That's right. Yeah, that's that Creek's favorite scene. Fuck your mercy. That's my favorite.
I was sold from that moment on. I was already sold, but that kind of did it for me. I was like, yep, this is it.
John, I knew you and I thought similarly.
Oh yeah, no, I love that scene. that scene, I always try to worm that scene somewhere in my little videos, which is in a new one, by the way, which shameless plug here.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. We're going to cover your channel at the end of the stream here. So,
Something people might forget, the reason that
Around lunch tomorrow.
everybody in the manga, any setup the manga is gonna win against the movie, is because the movie only adapted the first 2 volumes of the manga.
yes.
If you
Yeah,
were
that's right.
trying to set up anything from Last Order or even late in the manga against anything from the early manga, like
Yeah.
the later parts are going to win anyway. If it's the
Yeah.
movie,
Yeah,
doesn't
they
matter
will.
if
Well,
you're
I
setting up the
think.
movie or the manga versions of the early bodies. Like they are losing
Well, I
because
think it
there's a
does
setup.
though, because I think it does though, because Cameron is. We know that the movie version is. I wouldn't call it grounded, but that's the wording Cameron would use. Is more grounded than what we see in the books.
Mhm.
So I think. I mean, I actually kind of wish he wouldn't do that. Personally, like I get it. I get it. It makes it more believable, whatever. But I think these studios limit themselves to what they could really do. Like this story, I don't know how they'll portray things like Den, but I know they're probably going to go for something more. If you've seen the concept art, looks like he's just a giant samurai with a metallic horse.
Well,
Yes.
I hope they do have at least some scene with him in the centaur body. Like he's not in the centaur body the entire time, but like we need to see the big
That's
centaur.
true. I agree. I think I get why they wouldn't do it because people look at that and like, oh, this is just corny and weird, But at the same time, it's like, yeah, but I kind of want to see it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But Cameron, I think, would go for the more grounded approach. That's what that's what they always go for.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's warranted, other times it's not. Personally, I think he could get away with it better with Alita than he could Avatar, but that's a whole other combo that some folks don't like having. Except for the dog barking.
Are you at the dog park now, John?
Yeah, can you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear the dogs barking. Yeah.
You can hear
Wow.
the rustlings. We can hear
You
the
can hear that?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I'm sorry. I've just been pacing back and forth. I didn't know y'all could hear that.
No, you're all right.
We
You're
can.
okay. You're good.
You're also very loud generally.
Damn, I didn't realize these headphones were that good.
But anyway, okay, so we all agree that it probably is not, Alita's not going to kill Nova in Alita Fallen Angel. What about Alita Avenging Angel? Now, we certainly they could go a couple of ways with that. This could be Alita 4 right here, if they split up the motorball arc and the Zerkerpan arc. But in this particular part of the story, do you think Alita will kill Nova?
I'd be surprised if she didn't. At least, I'd be surprised if there wasn't at least something close to killing him, like killing one of the multiple Novas, or at least severely injuring one of the Novas. But I would also be surprised if he was killed. Like I would be surprised and disappointed if he was killed permanently, like all of him. But I will also be very surprised if at least one version of him isn't destroyed.
That makes him sound like Ultron, doesn't it?
Come on, there's so many Novas. You gotta kill. You gotta kill at least one Nova, or like destroy his body without destroying his chip to set up the chain of making more Novas. And we need to see like one of those chains being set up. Like I'm assuming some chain of Novas is already set up since he's so old. But like, come on, we gotta see it.
Yeah, he's older than Creek.
We gotta see at least one Nova getting killed, and I don't want all of them dead yet. I need to see one Nova killed.
What about
the
you,
story
Lee?
progression should be marked in amount of bodies Alita has gone through, like bodies she's had, and amount of dead Novas.
So we're gonna have 11 dead Novas. That's pretty cool.
He's about to make him a 3-body problem.
That's right. What do you think, Lee?
Well, from all indications, Cameron seemed to be wanting to do a primarily 3 movie trilogy. So more than likely, she's going to face the big villain and take him down in the 3rd movie.
Yeah, I think it'd be more likely here. I think.
Yeah.
What do you think, Lottie?
I mean, yeah, if it's going to be like the final of the trilogy, you would assume that she'd finish him off in the. But it depends like how they lay it out. If they're going to plan for more movies after that, so it's all up in the air. And plus, I haven't really read that far in the manga anyway to comment.
Didn't he get his head lopped off at the Granite Inn
Yes.
at one point?
Yes. Yes, he
I can't
did.
remember.
You come into
Yeah.
a kind of problem here because if this was, let's be honest, Last Order is not adaptable into a movie. Like some parts of it, Velma's backstory, very much you could make that into a movie, but the Zod only works as a series. The Zod could work amazingly well as a series. It would not work in any universe as a movie. Which means if you want to make Last Order a series,
Yes.
then you would have to, I'm assuming, wrap up the first story as a trilogy. In which case, if you kill Nova for good in the first trilogy, in which like it makes it clear that he's dead, and he stays dead into Last Order, well, that cuts out a lot of Last Order if Nova's dead, or you need to find a new Nova replacement to do Nova's role in Last Order. If Nova isn't dead by the end of the trilogy, well, that's kind of a when that's kind of a cop out. Like that's kind of what we've been building up all along to. You could make a message out of it, but let's be real, people want Nova dead. Now you could kill Nova in the trilogy and then reveal that, oh yeah, one of the Novas is still alive. He's in Last Order, which it feels like a cop out, and it is a cop out, but it might be the best option. Say from making Last Order an alternate reality where he didn't die.
Well, it could be that
I
they.
feel like
What you try to do is getting a feeling of finality in the third movie while leaving room for Last Order to exist, which might not be very doable, or at least not very easy.
I feel like they've kind of merged Nova's role in the movie with Aga. I can't really say his last name.
Aga and
Aga
Body,
and
and
Body,
you
yeah.
absolutely need Aga and Body for Last Order to make
I don't
sense.
think I don't think they're ever going to. They'll implement aspects of Last Order, but I don't. It just like you said, that doesn't really work very. They've already brought in Gelda, so I mean, they kind of merged it with the new stuff they added, like all the moon shit and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
The which isn't even a thing, but it works.
But they made it a thing.
They did, and I like it.
Yeah.
I do wish that they had not, remembering who she was, and not just that there's a little bit more to. I hope there is more to it than just, oh yeah, she was one of these soldiers, but that's it. It's like, okay.
Barely been brought. You can't expect everything in it. In the movie, in the manga, the first flashback we get to Alita's training on Mars is during the Motorball arc, which makes me think that the next movies will have more like flashbacks to Gelda, and also maybe some flashbacks to Erica. So that if Erica shows up in Erica showing up in the third movie, if you try to make it a trilogy, would be so absurdly sacked that it would have to work. It could maybe work if you're really good at it. It could maybe work, but if you have like 4 or 5 movies or 6 movies like Creek wanted, then like in the 4, if you drag it out into 4 movies, that you could bring in possibly Erica.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a series, you absolutely can have Erica in it. Again, with the changes they already made to the beginning of the story, it's kind of hard to tell how much of the original source material can even be adapted. And let's remember, no adaptation should be a shot-for-shot recreation of the original, because then an adaptation needs to somewhat justify its existence beyond just being faithful. Like, it has to do something.
It's refreshing to hear someone say that, because my God, I've gotten to so many arguments with people about, I don't want to say purist fans, but that's the only proper word I can use for it. It's like, okay, not everything's going to, fit the way that it does in the original one. Well, then they shouldn't do it at all.
What they could,
it's good if it's close to the original, but you gotta kind of do something, or it doesn't justify its existence.
Well, I think in regards to Nova dying, they could do him like they did Mr. Spock in Star Trek II, where he gets killed, but he comes back, or he doesn't really die. They could do something like that with him too, or they could do kind of like Channel says, have multiple copies of him and they kill one of the copies, maybe, something.
Or
like that.
have him killed, but the brain chip's not destroyed, so we'll just bring him back later from, as in, put his brain chip in a new body.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's several ways they could go with it. So.
I think they might actually reveal. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Again, with Nova making backups of his mind whenever he sleeps. Again, even if it's not the brain chip, maybe he has some kind of external storage unit for all the memory, so you could bring his consciousness back from that. Also, small thing that I noticed with Nova, the more times he's remaking himself, it feels like the less human he consider, like he is not having identity crisis over it the way Alita is. But a small detail I noticed, like in the first manga, in the volume 9 with the Ouroboros, Nova plugs himself into the Ouroboros with like electrodes that go onto his forehead that looks like something you'd put on someone with a brain. Like he is still doing it the normal way, like But in the last order, when he's talking like virtually to Alita from Zalem Nova X, he is plugged with he's plugged in with a USB cord.
Yeah.
Meaning that he's going more into the I mean, I'm basically electronics anyway.
Yeah.
Why bother pretending to be fully human?
There are the doggos out there.
Oh, doggos.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's subtle because he's not being like, it's not the main part of him, but there is this part of Nova slowly letting go of his own notions of his, I'm assuming, subconscious notions of still being human, or at least paying less attention to the visuals of it in exchange for practicality.
Yeah, they need to go the second and third mile to make him more evil, more capable, and just really people leaving the movie frustrated that he's not killed. I think that's what I think.
Which, if Nova is this out of touch with it, when he's at the time of the manga, which in the manga he's in his like 50s or something. Imagine how detached he becomes by the time he's 300. Because in the manga he's already a inhumane and detached, but like he is still interested in Alita. In the early parts, he is abusive towards his son, but he is still interested in his son. Like he has some kind of human connection, even if it's not a healthy one. Also, he doesn't want Jimmy to die. Like he's not a emotionally healthy human, but there is still some human emotion and human connection. Imagine how little of that would be left after 300 years.
Yes. Yeah, we're kind of watching Odd John throw that ball with his dog over there.
Yeah. Oh, there's still some snow.
Sorry, I got the puppy cam going. I figured why not.
Yeah.
What's her name again? I forgot.
Luna.
Luna.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Do you live near Conway anywhere, Odd John, or
Somewhere in that area.
Yeah, you don't have to don't give me an exact location.
I just doxed myself like a dumbass.
No, I didn't want you to dox yourself. I just wanted to know if you were somewhere near there,
Yeah. Although maybe not for much longer, though. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Oh, I am not paying attention to where that camera's going.
Yeah. Anyway,
the
reason why I asked, I got a friend that lives in Conway, so.
You told me about that.
Yeah, he was my mentor and one of my mentors in my profession, so. Anyway, yeah, you guys got some snow, all right.
It's ice. It's not even snow. It sucks. We got real snow a few weeks ago, but this is not fun. It's just ice. Yeah. She's not a big fan of it either.
She seems to be doing okay on it.
Yeah, she's annoyed at me. She's like, "Get off your phone. Come mess with me." Nope. She's funny.
Like a little toddler.
Pretty much. No, that's exactly what it is. They're four-legged toddlers with big teeth and don't speak English or any language for that matter.
I know my Newfie, when he was alive, he understood like something like 200 words. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, he was.
Yeah, we've still got a long way to go with her as far as training goes, but she's kept me very occupied. Oh, yeah.
Well, anyway, in terms of Alita killing Nova, Alita Avenging Angel, I think it might see. Well, I have my thoughts, and I'm going to bring them up here later. But I think if they were going to do it, it would have to be in this particular film or in this particular, version of Alita or episode, because they can't kill him too early, I don't think. And by keeping him alive and making people frustrated that he's not dead, I think they could just draw more and more people in, I think, so.
My cousin, who's way more into humanities than I am, we watched Alita together, and by the end, she was really frustrated because why haven't we gone to Zalem? Because there's shots of Zalem all the time, and one of the first rules we're told in the movie is that no one goes to Zalem. It's a rule of storytelling, specifically like coming of age rebellion stories, that if there's a rule set at the beginning of the movie, then by the end of the movie that rule will be broken. Like if it's stated specifically without explanation, that rule will be broken. Which everything in the movie sets up to have the movie end in Zalem. The establishing shot is a shot of Zalem. And we never again, like, let's be honest, if the establishing shot of Zalem was at the end of the movie, it would give you a way bigger reaction because it's like, oh, finally saw Zalem. But because it's at the beginning, it's making you think, oh, cool, that's where the movie's gonna be. So everything is setting the movie up.
I've seen the sentiment that they need to.
Ending in Zalem, and then you never actually see the inside of Zalem beyond that one establishing shot at the beginning of the movie.
I've seen the sentiment that we don't ever need to see Zalem, and that they should end it at the end of the Japan arc. I don't agree with that notion, but
I don't either. No.
I think, although it would make for because the way that arc ends, it does leave things open, but does leave a pretty good ending too. But at the same time,
I think it's all profit driven. If Alita makes a ton of money on the second and third movie, they're not going to let it in. They're going to want to milk that for all
Which
they
annoys
can.
me.
You know what would be both very thematic and very disappointing? If we never actually get to see Zalem in its full glory ever, we only get to see Zalem after the revelation when it's in ruin. You never actually, because in the manga we only very briefly got to see what Zalem looked like before, the revelation and the genocide. What if we never get to see it at all in the movie? We only see the version of Zalem post-glory.
Well, it ties with the theme of like never reaching that unreachable.
Exactly. Even when you physically reach Zalem, like you're in the wrong time frame, you still missed it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's great. Perfect. I should do that.
It would frustrate viewers even more, but in the best way possible.
Cameron's probably like, yes, frustrate them all.
The suicide booth's destruction. Yeah, I want to see Alita holding the innards of that suicide booth up over her head like she did in the manga. That was awesome. Here's a little bitty girl holding up this gigantic gear looking thing. It weighs tons, That's pretty cool, I think. I think Rosa would look good doing that, don't you, Vladi?
Doing what, sorry?
If they put a scene in here where I guess Alita Killing Angel said that he or she said that they would like to see the suicide booth destruction, where Alita. Wait, I don't know if you've read this far or not, but
the non-canon ending.
Yeah, and she holds up the insides or the innards of this suicide booth up over her head with one hand, and that thing weighs like tons. You know, that would be super cool. You know, it'd be kind of
that
neat.
would be cool.
Kind of neat to see Rosa holding up a, you know, like a 10-ton.
Well, you mean Alita? Yeah, that is Rosa, obviously.
Yeah, Rosa. Rosa is Rosalita.
Rosa version of the Rosa version of Alita.
Yes.
Is that with Bob Eager locked inside?
Well, I don't want to wish Bob Iger any kind of.
No, it's a joke.
You know, yeah, I know. So,
as far as I'm aware, suicide booths aren't real, or maybe they are real. No,
Well,
They are real.
They're
Like,
real. They're
the
real
exact
in the
types from
manga.
Alita aren't real, but yeah, like suicide booths are real
Yes,
in some countries.
Yeah, and in Futurama.
and they're certainly real in the manga. Sort of. They're sort of real because they're not real. So
How do they kill you in the manga?
you go into the booth and it's got a gear. I think it grinds you up or something like that.
It's unclear how it kills them. I
Yeah.
mean, does the gear kill them, or does the gear just chop up the already pre-killed body and
yeah,
they
they
killing
don't-
you some other way?
Yeah, they
Probably
don't go
gas you
into
or
that
something.
too much, but
They never go into detail on that.
it's pretty gruesome though.
Yeah.
Still nowhere near as gruesome as the freaking flesh cube from the actual canon version.
Yeah, that's right. But seeing Alita holding that up over her head, I'd see that 20 times. That'd be cool. Well, guys, I guess what do you think? Well, I know we've kind of hinted around this at all, and I'll show you what I think. Do you think we'll start with Lee? Lee, do you think Alita will kill Nova in the sequels?
The third one, yes.
Okay, what do you think, Lottie?
I'd say probably yes, but I don't know. It's really hard to know what Cameron's going to do.
Yeah. What do you think, Channel?
Yes, but it won't stick.
What do you think, John? Or is John muted?
He's probably picking up Luna's poop.
That's something you have to do at the dog park. That's right.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think he indicated that. Well, here's what the Creek thinks. I don't think they will. Now, I do come closer to agreeing with Channel because I do think if they kill him, they'll bring him back. That's what I think they'll do. If they do that. But the reason why I say that he's not going to exit the story, whether he gets killed or not, he's not going to be completely gone from the story, because and I'm looking at this from a practical standpoint. I think Alita, the sequels, will make money. I think they'll make a lot of money. Now, I don't know if I don't believe they'll make $1 billion a pop, but I do think.
What?
Well, they might. I hope they do. But
They're going to break Avatar's record.
I hope you're
Creepy.
right. I hope you're right. I think they'll make at least 800 million. That's what I think they'll make. But here's the
I think
thing.
it'll be a win if it even makes like 600, or maybe we can count 500 as a win.
Yeah, I would prefer 600, but I think 800 is not unrealistic. But
It's just important that the box office grows. I mean, Sonic got a bunch of sequels, and that's grown steadily.
Yeah.
And speaking of Sonic, one of the executives from who helped make Sonic 3 is now at Disney. We can talk about it tomorrow in the news.
Yeah. Well, I think that the reason why he won't exit the story is because she'll be so profitable that they're not going to stop at 3 movies. I don't think they will. I mean,
that would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
We've suffered so much. We deserve.
Oh yeah,
Although this still won't be for like years away, and who knows what's going to happen in the world.
And I think
I'll probably be like conscripted to go fight in Ukraine or something. We're talking about conscription here now. I'm like, what the fuck? Am I too old for conscription?
I don't know. I don't know how old you are there, Vladi.
I'm like 37-ish.
Yeah, you might be a little past the prime there on that one.
Thank
I
God.
think. I don't know what the I don't know what the UK does for their military in terms of conscription, but
well, they're saying all the European countries have to like massively bolster it.
yeah.
But
But
hopefully we won't be in World War III and everything will be smooth and we can get all our sequels and everything will be good.
Yes.
Chances of that happening in this world, though. But I still think we'll get sequels even if the world does descend into.
Well, I'm confident we're going to get a sequel. I'm super duper confident that we will. But it's just a question of when in my mind. And I kind of know or have an idea, but I don't want to say. But anyway,
Rosa told you the exact announcement date, didn't she?
No, she did not tell me the exact announcement date. No,
What?
she did not. No, she didn't. But I do think that, when we get these sequels, I do think that we will get them. And I think it's going to be a little while longer, and then we'll see.
A little while in Cameron years is like 10 years.
Well, that's certainly what it kind of was, wasn't it? It was 13 years, wasn't it, from Avatar 1 to 2? So, yeah. See, I think if Cameron really, if he really associates himself with the movie, and they really hype that up, and he takes a major role in it. I think Robert Rodriguez should still direct it, but I do think that Cameron would probably, have his hand in it, and he would probably, maybe even be a co-direct or maybe do a couple of, the segments himself, perhaps, I don't know, but, I think as long as him and Lady Calogridis and, Robert Rodriguez, and they promote this correctly, I think it'll take off much better than the first movie did. That's what I think.
Because the first movie already introduced a lot of new fans, and those fans will already be ready for that second movie.
Yeah, and the fan base has grown since the end of the movie too. Not, a lot of times people forget about movies, and a lot of movies don't have a fan base.
Like they do, but it's a very small permanent fan base, and then a bigger fan base that only shows up briefly when there's like a new announcement, and then the permanent fans get annoyed that the fake fans should only show up when there's a new content.
Well, I won't be too upset about it because that will only be a positive for Alita. Because I think a lot of the guys that were the original OG type Alita Army guys, that were in this before the Creek got in it, actually. If they come back, I'll welcome them back with open arms, because it only helps the fans for sure, but it only helps the movie because there'll be more people going to see the movie multiple times. Because Alita Battle Angel, unlike other movies, that more people went to see this very many times, or have seen it very many.
Some people saw
times.
It 100 and such so and so number, or I don't know where they are. It's sad that they are no longer here.
But I think those
are they still with us? Even are they so depressed that the sequel hasn't happened?
Well, I think when it does happen, and I'm emphasizing when it does, I think they'll come back and it'll be like old home week almost. That's what I think. And
that'll be beautiful.
Yeah, it will. And it'll. And some of these guys will go see this movie again 100 times. Just like they did before. And I think that would drive profits up. And if the movie is treated properly, I think it'll go gangbusters. And I do think also that, probably what would happen before the movie actually comes out, the sequel, that they'll re-release an extended version of Alita Battle Angel. So we'll get to see her training with Hugo. We'll get to see a little bit more of extended interaction between Ito and Shirin, and we'll see more of Vector, I think, in it. Because they have like 30 minutes of extra footage, that they could add, to the movie. And I think
on the Polish version of the DVD, like in the little booklet you have in the cover, there's some shots that are like screenshots from the movie, and most of them are screenshots from the movie. And
Mhm.
one of them I could never find it when you were in the movie, and it's Vector and Sharon kissing. Like, I am pretty sure it didn't happen in the movie, but it just was along with the screenshots. So I'm assuming that's part of the deleted footage.
Yeah.
Because you
Well,
wouldn't just randomly shove into the booklet of the DVD a shot of Sharon and Vector
yeah.
kissing for no reason.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why they put that specifically in there, but it's there.
Wait, what was that picture? I can't remember that.
Of Sharon and Vector kissing,
What was the scene? What were they dressed as? What scene do you think it was from?
just as they were in the movie, I think, weren't they?
I don't remember.
They
I'd
had
have to go
multiple
check it.
outfits.
Well, I do know in the novelization, Vector and Sharon have a relationship that's
It's not
you
a
know,
yeah. The book can decide whether
Yeah.
they're in a relationship or they're not. Basically, like they're fucking, but they don't love each other.
Yeah. It's contractual relationship,
Yeah,
basically.
it's a
Yeah.
contractual
Transactional.
relationship where they're both kind of just. It's a yeah.
I need to see this
Vector is
Kristen
trying
picture.
to be
I can't remember it.
Vector is trying to be impressive. Sharon is pretending to be impressed because she knows that's the best she can do.
yeah.
Yeah. But she wants to get to Xylem. She do literally
Yeah,
anything.
she wants to get to Zom. She doesn't want to mess up a good thing that she has going for her, at least financially. So,
For Edo.
yeah. But I also want to see that scene that they actually shot this scene too. It's a scene in the novelization where Alita goes out to this like kind of a thrown together track that Tanji and Hugo put together so they could practice and all that stuff. And basically, Alita tears that track up practicing, because she's trying to get her memory back. And, in the novelization, she tells Hugo, when I come back around, hit me with this 2x4 or whatever it was he had. I forget. But he goes to hit her. And, of course, she just holds up her arm and the 2x4 splinters, and she kind of jumps on top of him and forces him down to the ground. She's got her fist like she's going to punch through his skull, and he's laying there like, did anything come back? And she's looking down at him like that, and there's a shot of that. I think Jack Gerambo did this. He's got a shot of that. He has a video to where she's on top of him about to punch him, and all of a sudden she kind of lets up, because she didn't remember. It didn't force her to remember anything because it wasn't a life or death situation, for one thing. I would love to see that scene where she's training at their little makeshift training ring that they had there for their street motorball games, so that would be kind of cool, I think. Yeah, I don't think if what Channel says is correct, I don't think Nova will stay dead. If he gets killed, he's not going to stay dead, I don't think. They will bring him back, I think. So
I hope they do. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense in Alita's world more than like in like a Marvel movie or something where they just bring people back because they just need them for financial reasons.
But you got to remember, there's only so many deaths you can have without it until it just loses its meaning.
Exactly. Yeah.
Alternatively, you can introduce a mechanic that allows people to come back from the dead, but it's a very specific mechanic. So now, if you kill someone with the mechanic working, the fans will expect them to come back. But if you kill them with outside of that specific mechanic that lets them come back, or you introduce a very specific loophole, then it can make deaths feel permanent. Basically, you introduce the ability to bring back characters, and while reserving the ability to make a death feel permanent, in which case you're only cheapening deaths where that mechanic is possible. So basically, killing Nova feels like, oh, okay, we got him out for now, it doesn't feel permanent, but killing a cyborg character feels semi-permanent because you don't know if they're going to be rebuilt or not, and killing an
Yeah.
organic character feels permanent because usually they're not going to be, able to rebuild them in time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So you can have a reviving mechanic without completely cheapening death, but it only goes so far.
Well, as far as Nova's concerned, the mechanism could be the nanites. They could show the nanites rebuilding his injury and, him regaining color in his skin. And then all of a sudden he opens his eyes. That'd be kind of awesome, I think.
Yeah. Although it's a kind of a shame that nanites have become a symbol in science fiction for basically magic. Like, I have no idea how the hell that works, so let's just say nanotech.
Okay, nanotech. Yeah. All right. Well, that's what Alita called it, didn't she? When she was...
I mean, you can't basically do anything with nanobots.
Yeah. Well, they do have some conceptual... I don't know how far they've gone with it, but they have some conceptual models of nanites, I guess, but I don't think they're, who knows how far it's going to go, though. You're right. So anyway,
I mean, some of the technology we currently have would look like magic to previous generations. So the fact that nanotech is basically synonym for sci-fi magic might not be entirely unrealistic. It just feels like I don't have to research this technology. Just call it nanotech. It works. Okay, it works because it's nanotech.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know in Star Trek, they've used that term nanites, a few times. But you're right. I guess that any kind of technology looks like magic. I know there's a guy. He has a channel on YouTube called Perry This. And he did a couple of videos of what would happen if a squad or a platoon of modern soldiers went back to the Battle of Thermopylae, and helped the Greeks against the Persians. The Persians would view them as like godlike characters, and it would be a very disconcerting thing for them on the battlefield. To have these weapons that they can't even see, and guys are just dropping they're just dropping in front of them. They're dying. They would think that was magic. Although I think back in those days too, the Chinese did have gunpowder, so they might have they may have some kind of understanding of it, but it would be almost like magic to them if like a modern platoon of infantry guys went back and fought against people holding shields and spears. It would be pretty much it'd be a debacle, is what it would be. So
any sufficiently technology is indistinguishable from magic. Any sufficiently well-defined magic becomes science fiction.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, you're quoting Arthur C. Clarke now.
Yeah, the second part isn't Arthur C. Clarke. The second part I added. The first part is a quote. The second part I added.
That's
Any
right.
sufficiently well-defined magic is indistinguishable from science fiction.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't think if they kill Nova, he's going to come back, or they may not kill him, because I think the movies will be profitable enough to warrant more movies. I mean, look how Disney's doing now. They're making movies now, with the exception of like Deadpool and Wolverine and some of them, and certainly Endgame and Infinity War were they were profitable, but a lot of the movies they've made since are just really they're bombing. They're not making money, and they keep making them. So,
Snow White's next.
Yes.
That's
Snow White, and they somehow made her look like Farquaad.
Yeah.
How do you take a good-looking woman and make her look like Farquaad? Also,
I don't know.
I am still not over the fact that Disney decided, we're gonna be progressive, and that not hire any dwarves for a movie that has Snow White and the title Seven Dwarves.
CGI
This movie did not need to be live action. This movie was made animation for a reason. By the time when the movie was being released, they could have made it live action. They didn't. The whole point was it was like a giant animation test. The whole point of the movie was that it was animated in color and it was a full-length animated movie in color. That was the entire point of the movie existing, to show off color animation in full length. So
Wow.
there's no reason to have it live action. And if you do have it live action, and if you're gonna be changing the story, which it is good that they are changing characteristics, because again, you're supposed to be doing something different with adaptation.
Yes.
But if you're changing the writing around the evil queen, change the writing around the dwarf. So instead of having CGI abominations, have actual actors with dwarfism, and fix the writing to give the dwarf characters agency and not just be Snow White's basically humanoid pets like in the original movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
The whole Snow White is offensive to people with dwarfism. Kinda. The way to fix it isn't to replace them with CGI, it's to fix the writing.
Yep.
Indeed.
Well,
Which
I
they
know.
could have done, and that would actually be progressive and interesting, but no.
Well, like
Let's
the
Let's have
characters.
Princess Farquaad and the 7 CGI abominations.
Well, it's like the roles that Peter Dinklage plays. They have agency, and they're believable characters, and they're good characters.
Peter,
They
this
could
is all
they
Peter
could do
Dinklage's
that.
fault. It's all
Like,
Peter
you
Dinklage's fault.
You can have the dwarves be like, instead of just a bunch of really old men and one that's surprisingly young, you could
Yeah.
have the dwarves be like be a family that takes in Snow White. And since the Rachel Zegler said that she doesn't want like a prince kissing Snow White because it is creepy for a guy to kiss an unconscious woman he barely knows and found in the woods.
Yeah.
Why not have? And my answer still is have
Yeah.
one of the dwarves be around Snow White's age and make one of the dwarves the love interest. Come on, it would work. It would.
I mean,
You could
all
make
of
it
this
work.
just
It would
makes
be
me
great.
think they just shouldn't even
It
remake
would be way less creepy because they've already been living together or they're already close. Like, it could work so well, but no.
Or at least have her wake up before she gets kissed by this guy, by this prince, and then meets him, and then
I
meets
mean,
him, then
what
falls in
wakes
love
her
with him.
up
That'd be
though?
all
Like,
right. Yeah,
in
no,
one
that's
in one version of the fairy tale, the prince has some men carry the coffin, and one of the men carrying the coffin trips, and that bounces her in a way that makes her spit out the apple. So you could go with that version, or you could just not remake the movie. Or if you're gonna remake the movie, at least make one of the dwarves the love interest. I need to see that.
I think the test screenings of that movie haven't gone well, though. I think from what I've seen on some reviewers.
I've only seen the comments, and
Yeah.
some of them are just needlessly rude or like really kind of racist, and
Yeah.
others are just funny. Like, this trailer makes me want to sit on the TV and look at my couch. If I see this movie on an airplane, I'm still walking out.
Yeah, I saw that comment. All
But
right,
they
guys.
wouldn't have to keep making all these stupid remakes if they just had some creative backbone and greenlit the Alita sequels.
As long as remakes keep making money, they're gonna keep making remakes.
Well,
they're not making money,
will
though.
move on.
That's the problem. They're not making money. They're
Well, not as
losing
much
money.
now because they've
Well-
run out of ones to remake.
Well,
so-
like say, Deadpool and Wolverine made really good money.
Yeah.
For sure. And they've made couple of movies that made money, but most of the movies they're making are just abject failures, like the Marvels.
The MCU's decline is pretty crazy, but it had to happen eventually. Surely people just get bored of watching the same franchise over and over for decades.
Well, it's like that Ant-Man and Wasp Quantum Mania. That thing fell flat on its face. I mean,
Which Captain America 4 is doing worse now, I think.
Yeah. I mean, but they keep doing it. They keep doubling down on it, They're throwing good money after bad, I guess. So,
Hopefully not for much longer. Alita should really be like the signal that they're going to make good stuff now. If they were smart, they'd be like, look, yeah, we made mistakes in the past. We shouldn't have focused so much on the MCU. Let's try some new stuff. Here's the Alita sequels.
yeah.
We're actually going to do something creatively worthwhile.
Well, it's kind of like what Lee said a while ago. We are assuming that they will be smart, but maybe they'll continue to be not smart.
There is a pattern that has developed.
Yes. All right, guys. I guess we all agree that Nova's not going to be gone for good. He might get killed, or one of his replicants, or whatever you want to call it, gets killed, but he's not leaving the story. I don't think he is either. So, he's still going to be around, So, well, he's kind of around in the manga, isn't he? Even through Last Order, he's around. So, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, Mars Chronicle, we also have one Nova left.
Yeah.
Okay, one good thing the movie did for the manga Novas. Remember, Supernova used to be kind of disliked. People were like, the main joke about him was that he looks like what would happen if you gave a 70s pimp a time machine and a TikTok account.
Okay.
But now that we have the movie Nova, you can actually kind of appreciate Supernova because, I mean, that's not what I expected from Nova. It's what the hell, he's not even eating flan. But at least it's more Nova than whatever the movie had going on.
Yes, I agree.
It made us appreciate Supernova, but by reminding us how much worse the flanderization could have gotten.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I think we've killed this one pretty, so to speak. I think we've killed this one. Well, John, are you still with us?
Probably driving home.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
They better have after the Nova and the movie is killed, or like this one of the second Novas, it better be that the Nova we've seen is just one of the Novas, and one of the other Novas actually has the personality and kind of visual of Manga Nova. Please, 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 I need to see Manga Nova in the movie, and not whatever that the Nova in the movie is.
No, we haven't seen enough of the movie Nova to know one way or the other what kind of Nova he is.
Yeah, but I bet we're not.
I need some Destiny Nova and not just Norton Nova.
Well, I think Norton and Edward Norton and James Cameron are friends, though. Or James, or rather, Robert Rodriguez.
He can be played by Norton, even though I don't think looks like it matches that well, because there's only two characters in the manga that regularly have jokes about how short they are, and it's Nova and Alita.
Yeah.
And you pick Norton.
Well, like I said, we haven't seen anything about Nova except that he appeared on screen a couple times. That was it. So we don't even know what kind of personality they gave him in the movie.
Yeah.
I hope it's more like what's in the manga, though. I agree with Channel on that. So.
They better have one of his clones being shorter. I want short Nova back.
All right, guys. Well, I think we hit this one hard enough, I think.
Killed it dead in Grushka.
I think so. All right. So anyway, coming up on this channel, I guess on Monday, or Monday, unless you're in the future, there's I kind of did a little bit of a rework of one of I guess a video that I did about 2 or 3 years ago. But it's that one is a music video to the tune "Don't You Forget About Me" by Simple Minds, and it's really the way I've got it set up. The message is in the video throughout the entire video, so it's not an IMAX version. It's more of the 4K or letterbox version, but it's got the message above and below the screen. Because I want, if anybody at Disney sees it, I want them to keep seeing that message. And then, sorry, channel, but I do have an AI video coming out, mostly by Vladi's images. That would be on Wednesday. And then, I guess, no, I'm sorry. Monday is going to be that one. I guess the one you see up at the top there is going to be tomorrow. And then on the 26th, it's going to be that scene where Alita is saying, in my dream, the woman in my dream called me 99, or something like that, and that's in there. And then, of course, the mirror punch after that. Next week, there won't be a live stream because I'm going to be in Columbus, Ohio at the Arnold Schwarzenegger Sports Festival.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. I'm competing against some pretty good lifters, and basically, I'm hoping to meet Arnold Schwarzenegger and get a selfie with him, perhaps. And there's also another YouTube celebrity that I'm going to meet up with there too, because she's got a booth there, and I want to meet her and just kind of hang around on that day and then come back on Saturday. So we're going to have it's going to be a replay next Friday, but if you tune into it, you can still get in the chat and all that kind of stuff. And I will bring basically what it is. It's going to be the most watched live stream we've had, and that was the one where what would have happened if the had won the Great War, the Fall. And we had a lot of views on that one. So basically, we're going to replay that, and I think that one was from July of last year. So it had some kind of neat little effects in it and stuff like that. So I thought maybe we would just play that one, as a premiere, and then you can get in there and still comment and stuff like that. So I won't be able to display the comments, obviously, but you can still, make comments in the chat and that kind of thing. So that's what's coming up next week.
I want to know when John's video is going to premiere. What are you about to say?
Yeah, I was going to feature his channel. John, are you still there?
I'm still here. I kind of dipped away for a bit because a bunch of people showed up.
Okay. Well, anyway,
premiering.
Well, anyway, John has got a YouTube channel. He does good videos. I think he should continue to do videos at a higher frequency than he does now. But he's probably
it's been very busy.
So, but anyway, check his YouTube channel out. It's really good. He does really good videos. I've enjoyed every one of them I've seen. And he knows how to put together a good video. What kind of editor do you use, John?
Right now, I just use CapCut, and if there's something that CapCut doesn't do very well, I switch to Filmora, but usually it's CapCut.
Yeah.
I will be switching to DaVinci Resolve, but my laptop needs to be tweaked a bit before I try that. So
yeah, I used to do OpenShot, but I do Filmora now. So
Filmora, I just find a little bit confusing, but it's really good for. It does I forget what it's called. The auto cuts, where it goes in and it trims out all the excess background stuff. It does that better than CapCut does. Yeah. And I'm actually, I don't know about y'all, but I'm pretty terrible when it comes to using the cursor to draw out the lines. It's such a pain in the ass. But
not only that, I noticed that Filmora is better at getting rid of these what's called flash frames, where if you cut the video and you leave one, if you leave like one frame from the previous before the cut, it looks like it pops on the screen. So Filmora does a good job of getting rid of that. So, but anyway,
it's good. But CapCut's pretty honestly, it's owned by the same company that owns TikTok. But it's pretty a good competitor, I'd say, to the more advanced editors personally. I really like it. Not everything on there is great, but it's really simple. It's easy to use.
Yeah.
So it works for me. But yeah, that video I have a video. Should be dropping tomorrow around lunch, so 12 p.m. Central Time.
Yeah. Why don't you drop it around 2, about the same time the stream tomorrow?
Y'all are streaming around 2? That's early.
2 o'clock my time, be 3 o'clock your time, I guess.
Oh, okay. I might drop it around that time. Usually I do it around lunch because that's, according to YouTube anyway, that's the best time to do it. But I don't mind dropping around 3. It'll show up. Maybe I can beat the creek on posting times.
That's right. Maybe you can. I hope you do. Yeah. So anyway, check out John's channel. He does, like I said, he does good videos. That Dream On that he's featuring there, that's his main video there for his channel.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that video, actually, because at the time I did that video on a tablet and it didn't handle it very well. I really like making that video. This next one is actually really similar to that video, in the sense that there's a lot of overlays, and some of it's doesn't match up with the movie's visuals, obviously, exactly, but it's more stylized like that video, so that's what you're getting into. So it's a fun one. So
yeah, check out John's channel and go watch those videos, give him a like, subscribe, and all that good stuff.
Appreciate it.
Yes,
I need to
indeed.
upload more often.
Yeah, well, yeah, you do good. You do well.
Or upload some dog videos or something. I don't know.
Yeah, a picture of Luna running around in the snow. I mean,
I have a lot of slow motion
you'd be
videos.
surprised how many people will watch that.
Oh, I'm sure they would. Just do some slow-mo short videos.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh yeah, no, she's very entertaining. So
Yes.
I might actually do that.
Yeah. All right, folks. Well, check out Odd John's channel. All right. So, did we miss anything, you guys?
No.
I don't think we did.
Can't think of anything.
Yeah. Well, there's our queen right there. There's Miss Rosa. We don't want to upstage our queen, but I guess we'll do it just for this one shot. There she is, kind of rolling around in the ice, not the snow. Although she's probably finding patches of snow, isn't she?
She is nuts. That's all I know. Because I sure as hell wouldn't be rolling in this shit if I was a dog.
Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah. Well, she's
sad because the other 3 dogs left.
Oh,
yeah. She's just rolling it. That just looks so uncomfortable to me, though.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to do that either. Although, yeah, she knows she's on camera.
Yep.
Anyway, getting back to our queen there's our queen Rosa, and of course, she's delighted to be the queen of the Alita army. She told Charlie and I that is a crown that she would wear with pride, is what she said. And she means it. I mean, our queen loves us. That's for sure. She knows we're out here. She definitely does. She appreciates what we're doing for her. And I also want to give out shout outs to El Lamont and Jesse Fisher, because they brought Screwhead to life. And as I say every week, I want to see Screwhead team up with Alita and get on Alita's motorball team, and then them take on Joshigon in Alita 2. That's what I want to see. So, maybe Screwhead will, do something to Joshigon that'll help Alita beat him or something. So maybe that will happen, So all 3 of these are really good at what they do. Certainly Rosa and Elle at acting, and Jessie at being a stunt woman. She, as Elle put it, was the most badass stunt woman she ever worked with. So that's pretty cool. High praise right there. And of course, we all know how we feel about our queen. She's phenomenal. I can tell you, at that play that I saw her in, she was freaking magnificent in that play. She just really knows her trade and is really good. And of course, so she won an award last year too, by the way, so it's not just the creek, saying she's good. I mean, she's recognized in her industry as being a top tier actress.
She's got
bona fide badass.
Yes.
She's got good reception from the new Pixar show. Well,
yes.
Alita mentioned she was one of the best.
Yes.
I would also take it as a win, a big fat W win, that she didn't actually end up in at least in my opinion, in the what was that? Captain America.
Yeah.
Hundreds of millions of dollars.
I've seen some people get upset about that, and I'm just kind of sitting back thinking, if it's with it being received the way that it is, no one can use her as a scapegoat for Wyatt.
Yeah, that's right.
I can't say whether it sucked or not because I've not watched it, but whatever,
Yeah.
But if that's the case, no one can put it on her. It's not. She has a pretty good record on her roles.
Yeah, she does. She has a very good record on the roles. We talked about this last week. The only thing that I think that bothered me about it, is that she's not going to get any residuals from it, because if you're not in the movie, they don't give you residuals,
I think that she still would have gotten something out of it because she still did work on it.
Oh yeah, she got paid. She got paid to do what she did. But not being in the final cut of the movie, she didn't.
Right.
Residuals are just kind of what you get after the movie's been around. I know I got one.
I see what you're saying.
I got a friend lives in North Carolina. She was in a movie way back in the day. And yeah, and she had a speaking part too. She was an actress, you know, and I asked her if what kind of residual she got from the movie, and she said the last residual she got at one point was like $11.
Oh wow!
But because it'd been, I'm sorry,
From what?
from what movie?
Yeah,
where
what
the
did she get
the
original?
movie is on YouTube. It's called Where the Lilies Bloom.
Oh,
Yeah, and it's about this young lady that grows up in western North Carolina, up in the Appalachian Mountains, and her parents die, and she has to take care of the kids and all that stuff, you know. So, and she has to trick the. I don't want to give too much away here, but she tries to trick the people in the local government, the school, and all, so they can continue to go to school without going to an orphanage and stuff like that, you know. And of course, my friend plays one of the kids in school that is a friend of this girl or something like that, you know. So, yeah, and I think the last time I talked to her was, I guess here about 3 or 4 months ago. I asked her, and she said she got one residual check for 60 cents, something like that, and she just kind of laughed about it. You know, I don't get any residuals from that movie. So anyway. All right. Well, anyway, there's our queen, and of course, she's got some other movies coming out. Though, you know, she's got Vampires of the Velvet Lounge coming out. She's got Play Dirty coming out, and certainly I think in the fall is when they may do this, but she's in that TV series called Einstein, and it's kind of a law. I wouldn't say Law and Order, but it's kind of like somewhat of a comedy / sitcom, some Law and Order in it, you know, and she plays a detective in that, you know. So, and that's going to be cool. I will definitely be watching that one, you know, and I'll probably start promoting it when it comes on. But yeah, she's got some stuff going on, you know, and she's got that voiceover part. What's the name of that thing again? Now I forget.
Win or Lose, the Pixar.
Yeah, Win or Lose. That's right.
There's also that Amazon one that I want to watch. What's it called? The animated show.
Yeah.
That's like a sci-fi thing.
Yeah.
Pantheon, is it?
Prime.
It's called Pantheon.
Well, Prime, isn't it?
Yes, but the show's called Pantheon.
Oh, the show's called Pantheon. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, she's going to be in that. She's getting high praise for it already.
Wait, I had to go mute my mic. You said Rosa's in Pantheon?
Yeah, she's in Pantheon.
Oh.
Have you seen it?
I tried watching it, but it's got that. I tried watching that, but I've gotten really tired of the art style of.
I know what you mean.
It reminds me of Steven Universe, and it really annoys me.
No.
But I might check it out if she's in it.
It's
Yeah,
like,
she's in.
I watched a little bit of it, and I was just like, I don't know about this, you know.
Well, I think she's in 2 episodes, isn't she, Blotty?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't
It's not even
either,
listed on the main credits.
but I am going to watch it now, and that's on Prime, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll go watch it then. So. All right, guys.
It is an animated show, isn't it? I saw it on Netflix. But...
Yeah, it's an animated show. Is it on Netflix?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's on Netflix. Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Maybe it's on
That's why I was confused. I was like, wait, is this the same show?
Well, okay, then the Creek will watch it on Netflix.
She played.
He's like, I'm gonna watch it. He's like, I'm gonna watch it regardless, fool.
Yeah, that's right.
Rivera.
I will find it. Yes. So anyway, yeah, our Queen's special. She's really talented, and we want to support her in any way we can, of course. And tomorrow is now my birthday is not tomorrow. That was last Monday, but we're going to watch Alita Battle Angel on Radio Chaos tomorrow. So that's
My video is a birthday gift to you, Creaky.
nice. Nice. I'll watch it then. I hope you beat me out tomorrow too on the timeline.
You'll have fun with it. You said you like the fast-paced ones, and this is the most fast-paced Alita edit I've ever done.
I don't know how fast-paced mine are, but they are what they are. But
No, I'm saying you always said that you liked my Alita videos better when they were faster paced, and this is the fastest paced Alita video I've done.
Okay. Nice.
It's might remind you a little bit of Pooley's stuff, actually. Hooley's actually the dude that Hooley and Luna from the Arcane Fandom, the ones that got me into finally doing it.
Oh,
So
okay. Nice. Well, we're gonna watch the movie tomorrow, so you guys join us for that one. I think Maxie's gonna be the host on it, and
fun.
I'm gonna be.
I've not rewatched Alita in a while.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad on my part because I picked up an OLED recently, and damn, if you've not watched Alita on an OLED, like I opened up the movie to see how it looked, but I hadn't like actually watched all the way through. But my God, if you can justify the purchase, do it. Okay. No joke, man. It looks immaculate.
Well,
it really does.
Last time I watched Alita, when I flew down to Las Vegas last month, I guess, or earlier this month, the first weekend this month, I watched Alita on the plane on my tablet. So
didn't you watch it with those with the meta goggles too once? I think.
Yeah. Oh, you mean?
I remember you telling me about that back then, and I didn't. I didn't really know how to. I couldn't really quite picture what that looked like. I was at Target actually a while back, and I tried those on, and they had Dune playing on the demo reel. Dude, you are not joking when you say it's like you're in a movie theater but closer. The quality's not as good, but man, you're there. Like you're there. You're in it. I can't imagine watching Alita like that. That'd be so cool.
I've watched it on my Oculus is what I watched it on.
Yeah, that's badass. Because I couldn't really. You told me what it was like. I was like, but it's so hard to picture it unless you actually try it.
Yes,
it's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's like sitting in the front row of the movie. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
I'll tell you another cool thing. I know. Do Not Stand By. He does. I don't know if he's doing it so much now because he's got a new company that he's trying to get going, I guess. But last summer or summer before last might have been last summer. But he has a 3D version of Alita with a 3D projector.
Oh man,
that thing is awesome. You put those glasses on for that, and you look at that screen, and it looks like you're looking through a window.
I need to watch it.
That's awesome.
Man, it is just freaking unbelievable. I really enjoyed the heck out of that.
Alita and Avatar: Way of Water in 3D is a must-watch for anybody. It doesn't matter if you don't even like the movie; just watch it for that alone. Seriously.
Exactly. So anyway, join us.
The only one who can do that 3D, really. Nobody else can do it.
Well, they don't really make 3D TVs anymore, so projector is kind of the only way to go.
You might could pick up one on eBay, maybe.
Yeah, I got mine. I drove up to Birmingham and picked one up from some random dude's house.
I need to get a 3D TV. I think I could probably get one off of because I got a 3D Blu-ray player, and I got Alita on 3D, but I can't play it because my TV won't play 3D. And I've got what's the other movie I've got? It's I got like 3 movies that are in 3D. I think I got Shazam as one of them, and I can't remember the other one, but I can't play them, because my TV won't display it, and you put it into the 3D player, and the message comes up on there is this is not a 3D TV or something like that, so you can't watch it, So anyway. So I guess join us tomorrow on Radio Chaos. So we're going to have a lot of fun here, like we always do when we're playing Alita or we're watching that because we love that. This is probably going to be the 90th time I've watched Alita, and I forget exactly how many times. I know here about 9 months ago, I think I calculated that maybe I had 80 times you had watched it, and so now here it's 9 months later, maybe a year later, and perhaps now it's 90. I don't know, because I've watched it several times, especially flying back and forth, watching on my tablet. Everybody else is watching the bullshit on the plane, but I don't. I watch Alita on my tablet. So that's the way that one works. And of course, we are the Alita Army. We are the most positive fandom on the internet, and we do support Alita and Rosa passionately and positively. That's the main thing. We are positive. we try to stay away from any toxic, like a lot of fandoms tend to be toxic, or many of them might, and we try to stay away from that. I mean, I know I've had a couple of little arguments with guys in the Alita Army, but nothing came of it because we all love the character and we love the movie. We want to, make sure that goes. And of course, the main thing is, and for the Alita Army, of course, is we want to be a thorn in Bob Iger's side. That's what we.
As much as you're gonna hate me for telling, there is a reason why Alita fandom is relatively unproblematic.
Yeah.
Because as much as you're going to argue, it's a big fandom, it is the active part is relatively small. The active part of the fandom is small. And small fandoms are generally less toxic because they burn through all of their drama fast.
Yes.
When there's like, let's say 60 active people, they're gonna burn through their, not everyone's gonna be involved in a drama, and they're gonna usually burn through it and kind of agree on something like within a few weeks tops. But if you have thousands of people on both sides, even if the original people long stopped caring about the drama, there's always gonna be people on the other sides getting offended. He said what? Well, now I gotta find out what the rest of the story is.
Yeah.
So the dramas keep fueling each other because there's more people interested from the other parts of the fandom only for just now finding out about it. But if the active part of the fandom is small, then like I said, the drama runs out of fuel of people who care about it really quickly, so it doesn't have room to escalate that much.
Yeah, I do agree with you though, Channel, because I think that the most core, well, certainly the core part of the fandom is just a handful of us, Maxie and you guys and Angelus
and fandoms don't small fandoms don't also have as much room to splinter. For example, when there's big fandoms, there's entire like subreddits or like DNIs like don't interact with me if you don't agree on certain fandom controversy. But in smaller fandoms you can kind of do it, but if you can do it on many subjects, because then you just run out of fans to interact with if there's only a small amount of active fans.
Well, that's true. But the Alita Army, all encompassing, is not a small fandom. I mean, the active part is
the
small,
amount of people who are interested in Alita, like who would watch the movie, isn't small, but the active fandom is small.
Yes,
and what matters when you look at how fandom acts, it doesn't matter. What matters most is the number of active fans, not the number of fans who kind of somewhat like the movie. Because if you look at bigger fandoms and you took in account people who kind of sort of, they will be even bigger, but you only look at the active part.
Well,
man, this conversation makes me wish Channel was around in the early days.
Well, in terms of whether I do agree that the active part of the fandom is small, but I know I've got a ton of subscribers on my channel, and there are a bunch of them. It's over 250,000. So I mean, now they're not all active. It's like you say, Channel.
Like I said, a lot of people are interested in Alita, but people who are very passive in the fandom don't count towards the size. Like they count towards the size of number of people interested, but they don't count towards the size of how. Fandom dramas are limited by how many people are active in them, not by how many people are watching them and ignoring them.
Yeah, well, you're right about one thing too. We don't have much drama anymore, I think. I mean, we might get in the occasional argument here and there, but that's
again, small fandoms quickly burn for drama, and it doesn't matter if there's 10 million people who are passively fans. If you're looking for someone to collab with and you refuse to collab with anyone who disagrees with you on anything, you will really soon run out. You will be able to find someone in a big fandom, but you will really soon run out of someone if there's, like, let's say only 5 active creators, active writers in a fandom, and it doesn't matter if there's like 1 million people waiting for a fanfic. If only 6 people are willing to write a subject, and you don't refuse to write with interact with anyone who doesn't agree with you, you will run out of them really quickly. Doesn't matter how many other people are passively waiting for it.
True. I do think though we have more than 5 that are active.
I am exaggerating. Like
I know,
there's more than 5 people writing, but let's be honest, who's writing?
Dozens of us.
About specific side characters.
Dozens would be qualified as a small fandom for sure. That's all it was.
I'm not saying who writes about Alita, but
here's my thing though. with the size of what I think the actual fandom is in terms of also the folks that are kind of not quasi active, but just would like the movie and would watch the sequel and stuff like that. There's a lot, there's a lot of us,
there's a lot overall people interested in that's why how many people are interested in the sequel and how many people are interested in the fandom are two completely separate questions. Like, you have some people who are interested just in the movie and not really in the fandom, but also you have people who are friends with some people active in the fandom, and they're interested in the fandom, not as much in the movie. They just want to see their friends' creativity. And while yes, you say like there's a lot of people active, how many choices do I have if I want fan content of Kaina?
How many choices of what now?
How many people can I check like their accounts anywhere if I want fan content of Kaina?
Well, that would be my guess would be that'd be small.
Like, list more than one person who writes anything about Kaina.
Yeah, that would be pretty small, but yeah.
Like, I'm not saying anything Alita at all, but like specific characters, specific topics.
Yeah, I think if you drill down to say just one or two characters, it's going to really.
Because in big fandoms, you can have like separate interpretations of specific ships or characters. In Alita, if I'm looking for a specific ship, like there's only two people who write that ship, and that's if you're lucky, or like there's no one. Oh, how many people write specifically Kaina? How many people? Oh, how many fics have you seen that are chaos centric?
Mm-hmm. Well, be that as it may, and the fact that the core group or the active group of the fandom is relatively small, I do think that we are the most positive fandom on the internet, and all encompassing in terms of at least from what I've seen on my channel. There's a lot of people that like Alita, because I mean, if they didn't, I would not be getting any subscribers. I mean, I would not be growing. See, at one point, here's my point about this. At one point, I thought that my ceiling on my channel was the number of signatures that were on the petition. And when I started approaching that, and I said, well, I'm going to probably start slowing down when I get close to it, nope. Shot right past it, and now have over 70,000 more than it's on the petition. So but yeah, you're right. Those of us that are really engaged, I guess you could say.
The reason we couldn't agree is because you were talking about the passive fandom also, and I was just counting the active fandom, which are two different things.
Yeah, that's right. I agree with that. So. But I want Disney to know that I don't care how big that active part of the fandom is, or the passive part, or the kind of part, or whatever. I want Disney to know that there's a lot of people that want to see the sequel. That's what I want them to know. And there is a lot of people that want to see the sequel. And of course, we want to keep reminding them every day that, we are here to stay. I want Bob Iger to know, and now not that Bob Iger would ever watch this stream, but if perchance he did get made aware of it at some point, like for instance, maybe the Creek writes him a letter or something like that. But, I want him to know that, he's got potential here for a movie that will make money. That's what I want him to really know. I don't give a shit whether he thinks about whether we're big or small. I want him to think, oh my God, I didn't realize I could have made money with this movie, or with a sequel to this movie. That's what I want him to think. So anyway, any last thoughts, guys? Lee, any last thoughts?
No, nothing that really comes to mind.
Vladi, any last thoughts?
No, I think we've hit this one pretty hard.
Yeah. What about you, Channel? Any thoughts? Any last thoughts?
No.
Okay. How about you, John?
I think y'all beat that cyborg to dust.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Okay, then why is this image here? Well, that image is there is because I like it, and I'm the stream manager, so that's why it's there. So simply put, and to paraphrase Gruishka, I'm only here for our girl and the Alita Army. And of course, all of us in the Alita Army are only here for our girl. And so that only brings us to one last thing to do, and that would be the call to action. And that would be on my count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Film
Film those sequels, baby.
And sell the rights to someone more competent than Disney.
Yes, please.
I love that.
At least do something with it.
All right, folks. So we'll see you tomorrow on Radio Chaos, and we'll see, we won't see you next week on Alita Livestream, but there will be a replay. So anyway, bye.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
What's up, Alita Army? This is Hot Toys Alita, and I hope you enjoyed this week's Alita Livestream. Please join my Uncle Creek, Angelus, and our other guests for next week's show. Remember, I do not stand by in the presence of evil, and film those sequels, baby. See you next time.